Can we all finally agree that the term self-made is completely bullshit? Because no one in this world is ever self-made. You would think, okay, that they studied books, they didn't go to college, and they just like created something and made tons of money off of it. Okay, well, let's just take that example right off the bat. What books did they read? They were obviously written by somebody else, right? So they benefited from the ideas of somebody else. Therefore, those ideas weren't self-made, right? And did they have any employees at any certain time, or contractors, freelancers, whatever, to make and enact whatever they did? My guess is they probably did. Okay, and beyond that, do they live within our society, right? Do they drive on the roads that we pay for with our taxes? Do they have a car that was made by somebody else, right? And I know, okay, just by saying that, you're either on the wavelength that I'm on with this, or you're like, okay, that's just semantics, whatever. That's not what that self-made means. We use self-made as this sort of shortcut for someone who works hard, nose to the grindstone type of thing. And yeah, it is in some sense semantics, but I think, it perpetuates this myth in life that there's a distinction between us and them, and that we don't need them, that we can do it all on all by ourselves. And the fact of the matter is, that's just not true, and it's a very costly and dangerous idea to think that in general and perpetuate throughout society, because we are so interconnected. And if there's any lesson from the pandemic, it should have been that. And it's an idea that stuck with some people, but not enough, in my opinion, that we're all interdependent, and we need to start recognizing it as such. And it helps, just the world at large, but also just businesses in general, right? Like your business and other businesses, there's this interconnectivity. And when we disassociate that from our own thinking, we just have a false view of the world. And how can you yes, you can still find quote unquote success, but how much more success could you see if you actually recognize the reality of the case, right? And one of the most eye-opening books in terms of how interconnected and how dependent we all are on each other is A.J. Jacobs' Thanks 1,000. It's a book that chronicles his journey to write 1,000 thank you notes to every single person that is responsible for his morning cup of coffee. And, this was started because, at dinner, essentially, they would say grace with his family, and they would thank all the people, that helped bring the food. And the kid goes, well, who are we really thanking? And so this, spawned AJ to all of a sudden, really explore that idea in terms of his morning coffee. And it takes so many people just to bring him his morning cup of coffee. He thanked, obviously, the farmers, the pickers. He thanked the truck drivers that drive all that stuff. He thanked the people that paint the yellow lines on the road for the truck drivers, the factory workers, the store workers where he goes and buys the coffee, so many people. And, another sort of important factor of all of this is that it just makes you appreciate what we have, aka gratitude. And at a time where so many people are, let's say, demoralized, depressed, and sometimes even suicidal, one of the biggest antidotes to that is gratitude. And so when you can see the interconnectivity, you have an appreciation of the world around us. At least I do. And so, to think someone is self-made and they can just, do it on their own. And if you're not able to do that yourself, then, you suck. again, is a false notion, because of course you can't do it by yourself. You do need people. You need that sort of, just input from friends. You need a support system just in general to launch whatever it is that you're trying to do. And so that's what I want to start spreading more of into the world, and to combat this myth of, being self-made and that you can do it all yourself, because it is complete bullshit. And that is why I implore you to join me on this crusade of mine to fix that narrative. So thank you for taking the time to tune in and listen. I hope it has resonated, and I hope to see you next time.